Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Welcome,
Hey,
welcome to
Poor
another
Boyd,
Live
it's
with
like
CCO.
wrangling cats here, isn't it?
Yeah, we always have fun behind the scenes. We have to get people to stop so that people can hear us. How you doing, Alicia? Hello, Lorraine. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello.
I'm doing
Doing well.
I'm doing great, and I have lovely earrings. So feel free to comment and tell me how cool they are.
They're very cool. Very
What
good
they
job.
remind you of.
My
I
husband wants to go
don't-
fishing with them.
So I'm going
that
to drop
remind
off
me
and
of the
answer questions in
curtain,
the back.
the curtain
Okay, thanks, Boyd.
buybacks.
Curtain tassels.
So we
Well, it
are
is graduation time, so they are like the tassels on your cap. So
we're broadcasting live simultaneously to Facebook Live and YouTube Live. I see right now Camille is on YouTube. Hello, Camille, and Brian and Sandra. Oh, lots of people coming in on Facebook. Leslie, Cher,
I'm going to go look at
Sherry
Facebook
Marshall,
because
and
YouTube
Ginger.
doesn't work so good for me
Okay,
on the live.
we'll keep an eye on it. So welcome everyone. We got 3 of us today and Boyd in the background, so technically 4. And we're just spending some time kibitzing and catching up. And our topic today that we're going to start with is E&M, but if you have any medical coding, billing, compliance related issues, especially ones related to what courses you should take, career paths, that sort of thing. Lighter questions is what this Q&A, live Q&A is for. Deeper questions that might require some research, that's more for our public Q&A webinar, and you can put a topic request in at cco.us, and that'll give us some time to work up an answer sheet and that sort of thing. But quickie questions we can answer today, so fire away.
Yeah.
Let us know if you're working on any credentials currently. Are you currently studying? Are you working in the field? Where are you at in your medical coding and billing adventure?
That's right. Looks like my computer's going, yay!
And what
It's
have you
moving over
guys
to the
had on the slate this week for classes and webinars? I know you said you did a little E&M yesterday, right?
Yes, for the case studies, we
Oh,
did
okay.
abstracting E&M. So not coding E&M, but practicing and keywords and things to look for when we need to abstract. You know, what are the words that should flag for you and say, oh, okay, this is part of quantity, this is quality, this is, you know, and gave them
Like
some
auditing,
interesting
doing the bean counting.
Yeah, you know, so it's not getting the code per se, you know, but what are the words that you're looking for when the terms and the verbiage to abstract to get the E&M code, just kind of so you can get used to abstracting out of the stuff. And then also, like I said, there was
Tomorrow at
What was
noon,
that,
we have
Boyd?
endocrine, nutritional, and metabolic diseases at noon Eastern with Alicia.
for ICD-10. Yeah.
You did that today?
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
No, that's tomorrow.
Okay.
Today I did cancer, neoplasms in ICD-10, and also blood and blood organ, you know, ICD-10.
But she did those by herself. So those people who are
Yeah.
going,
I
we
did
didn't
those
see
by
those live
myself.
streams.
No,
Yes.
you have to sign up for the course if you want to see those.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. I do like cancer stuff, but I can't give you the scenario for cancer because I threw my example over the back of my monitor and down behind the desk, and I
You'll
don't
have
have
to
any
get
other
another piece of paper.
I'll look around.
All right, so tonight, let me just jump to the next. We're going to try and keep the topics on the screen so we can know where we are, and that helps with the recording that we're going to be doing. So Alicia thought it'd be a good idea to talk about the value of EM knowledge for all coders and billers across the board. So what were your thoughts with that one, Alicia?
Well, you know, E&M is CPT, so, you know, that everybody is familiar with that, of course, but it's not all about bullets and counting points. It's really much more than that. And you and Jennifer can speak to E&M much more than I can. I mean, Laureen's been teaching that since the early 90s, or before probably, and Jennifer deals with that because she specializes in billing. But so many people think it's all just clicking off the bullets, clicking off the points and everything, but it's not. And it's not just outpatient. There are E&M codes that deal with outpatient facility coding, consultations, critical care. What else are if you're going to do like hospice and home health,
Emergency.
then also telemedicine. Yeah, emergency, telehealth. That's really a big thing now. Telehealth
Very
is
big.
yeah, and so it's not just, we have an established patient in the doctor's office and we have a new patient in the doctor's office and here's my 211 to 215. No, it's not all that. It's so much more than that. So I think that if you want to really increase your knowledge base on E&M, you can't just focus on what we always talk about with the exams and stuff. It's, if you're really going to be good with E&M, you have to know all of those aspects, and that is a pretty big chapter in the CPT manual. It's a pretty big area.
And it covers all specialties. All physicians
Yeah.
are going to be doing office visits or hospital visits, so it's important to understand. I know for me as a new coder, and even a new instructor, to be quite honest, I was so overwhelmed by E&M. And I share the story when I'm officially teaching E&M or doing it on the Blitz review. But I was an occupational therapist and started a billing company and decided I needed to learn coding. And I'm taking this class with about 6 people, and the instructor starts talking about E&M, but we were just coming off a break, and they were talking about the new Rice Krispie M&Ms, right? So I was kind of thinking about that and just looking at all these books and being completely overwhelmed. And then she says E&M. I'm like, why'd they name it E&M? And the other students look back at me like, oh, she'll never pass. And they're like, evaluation and management. I'm like, oh, I thought you were talking about the M&M. So that's how totally clueless I was about E&M.
Yeah.
But I took the CPC exam 30 days later, and I passed by the skin of my teeth, but I passed. And a lot of the tips that we teach you is basically this visual method of how to figure out E&M with just your manual. There's a lot of slide rules and gadgets to help you get to the right level. But what I found is all of them were overwhelming and confusing, and I didn't get how to use them until I understood how to do it with just me and my manual. And once I did that, my confidence level went way up. And so we have some exercises in the Blitz review video in the the physician-based coding course that we have, where we teach you that, how to level, how to figure out the right, I say get in the right church and then the right pew. You have to know, are you dealing with outpatient E&M codes, or are you dealing with inpatient, or are you dealing with emergency, or are you dealing with critical care? Get to the right church first, then narrow it down and get to the right pew. That's when you start doing your leveling of your history, your exam, and your medical decision making. A lot of people,
some of that stuff's very time-based and others not at all.
Exactly. Yeah. And what I noticed when I would attend conferences and go into E&M sessions, a lot of the instructors taught the details first, like how do you determine history? How do you determine exam? And I found it easier for myself to reverse that, go from the broader picture and understand the location of the E&M, or the category and subcategory, and then get down to the other parameters. Like, is time the deciding factor of this visit, or is it what I call the HEM base, the history, exam, and medical decision? Okay, once you figure that out, now go down and figure out the history, exam, and medical decision making. And that just kind of makes things click better. And we'll have students do this leveling exercise. And at first I said, trust me, you're going to be very frustrated. And all of a sudden you're going to do the 3rd or 4th one, and click, 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 all the light bulbs go on, and I got it. with the
I never teach my
leveling.
students E&M at the beginning, and a lot of times that's where the textbooks and
Yeah.
everything start everybody, because this is the beginning of the.
Yep.
But I knew that if you start there, they will get overwhelmed and be more likely to give up. You know, or come in with a bad attitude about, oh, I can't do this. But E&M is what brought Laureen and I together back in the day. I mean, we're getting really close to 10 years now and it was my students weren't getting the way I was teaching them E&M. And I was frustrated for them because I couldn't figure out why they weren't getting it. And, you know, and then I came across Laureen's videos and I thought, hey, this
The
is
webinars.
completely different. Yeah, the webinars. This is
You used to
completely
make your
different than the way
students.
that I did. So when
You
we
made
had
her
Thursday
students
night
attend.
classes, I'd say, okay, you need to log on. You need to watch these videos. And they were getting it and they were coming back. And it's like, well, that's what I was saying. Well, that's not the way you said it. You know, and I was like, okay, well, it didn't matter as long as they were getting it. But Laureen told you the way she looked at it and how that's different than a way a lot of people teach at it. E&M, and I come at it from a completely different way because I think of the disease process. So
Right.
I look at it and I think, okay, how sick is this person? Do they have strep throat? Or do we have diabetes with comorbidities? That right there in my head, you know, it's like, okay, what are we doing? Are we just looking to follow up with their medication? Or is there something new happening? And so my brain
That's how
comes at it from a
auditors think.
completely,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's a completely different angle. And then I'm justifying what they say they got, you know, because my brain comes from that. And people think that I'm a nurse and I'm not. I did go to nursing school, but I never finished. But that's what I'm interested. That's what I enjoy. I don't like numbers, surprisingly, for a person that deals with numbers. But, you know, so my brain thinks, you know, no, you can't get a 215, you know, or no, you can't get a 214 just because you wrote a script. I'm sorry, the script is for Debrox. I mean, that's not a lot of medical decision making, you know, or even sometimes an antibiotic. This is a common cold, you know, and yeah, you gave them a prescription, but it's not even an antibiotic, you know, and so someone, in fact, when we did that E&M, they sent me an email and they said, I really thought that this would be a 214, the example that you gave, because they wrote a script. And for a new patient, that would be a 214. And it's like, well, there you go. This is an established patient. They had a common cold. And the medication was like, what is it, Dexedron or something like that? I can't remember. It's a congestion thing. It's like, is the person really sick enough with, you know, that's all they have wrong with them? It's, you know, it's like you said, it's the wrong pew. You're in the right church, but
Yeah.
you
You could be great leveler, but if you don't have the right category and subcategory of E&M, or the fact that it's new versus established, where you have to do 3 of the 3 key elements or 2 of the 3. So yeah. What about you, Jennifer? How did you learn E&M, or what's your favorite way of understanding it?
E&M, actually, when I first learned it, it was just what the physician told you. You know, I knew the difference between a new patient and an established patient, but I didn't know anything about leveling. And, you know, I was the self-taught coder and just kind of went in and took the test. But now that I teach it a lot, people, well, you got to remember, on a test, you don't have to level. So just those ideas are there for you. What's the location? What's the condition? You know, are they new or established? So on an exam, that was easy because you just kind of did what the book told you. Well, they were, you know, at an ER and it's this, okay, it's that one. But now that I've been through auditing and do a lot more auditing, internal audits and stuff, it's just so many people in the, like our chapter members or something will do an E&M once a year and they don't want to come because they hate E&M and they hate going over it. But it's like, but if you just, you know, there's a reason you hate it. There's something you're not getting. So just come and anyways, and we'll go through it and we'll help you to understand it. And, you know, I think that's where a lot of people, the first thing I hear a lot of people say, I don't want to level. And it's like, but it's really pretty simple. You know, you just need these 3 basic principles and, but, you know, understand now it's going to be changing in the next 2 years. So, I mean, still knowing how to level is still going to be very important because you still have to.
How certain are we of those changes? Is it a definite?
There are two more reviews by the CMS governing body that are going to happen before then. So like already from the last proposal, there's been one change already. So there may be more changes, but personally, I'm really hoping
like
it goes
ICD 10, where we were told it was coming, and it took like, 20 years. And
well,
then
I'm pretty sure there will be a final decision within 2 years, just as to how it's going to change is going to be,
that's
because
going to
right
be
now it's
very interesting.
I
is
did
going to
mention
be,
the one, the 2019 change and everything, and it was really subtle, but last night when we were talking about that. That's another thing about your knowledge base. I think it's a good thing to point out. But first I want to say Whitney, who's on a lot of our videos or things, she says, I never understood E&M until I found CCO. And we hear that a lot. I think that's a big, well, shoot, that's how like I said, that's how I found Lorraine.
And by the way, when, we were just doing monthly webinars, Boyd and I, and, Boyd, I have to credit him, was the one who told me to start doing these webinars. I said, well, I only know a couple topics. He goes, well, they'll ask you questions. I'm like, on the spot, I got to know everything. I can't do that. He goes, no, they'll ask you ahead and you'll have time to prepare. And I said, oh, that I can do. And we've been doing that for, I always forget, but many years.
9 years. Yeah.
And then, we started to develop a following, and the people said, well, why don't you, you talk about when you used to teach, why don't you teach? I would like to take your class. And Boyd goes, why don't you teach? I said, well, because, I don't have the time to support students. And, I found that very challenging. And he goes, well, hire someone, hire that Alicia teacher who makes all her students come. I said, okay. And so I reached out to Alicia, and that's how she became our main instructor.
I remember the first time when we talked on the phone and where I was sitting in the teacher's lounge at the college. Now, I was going to say it before I got sidetracked, talking about E&M knowledge, there are always little subtle changes. I mean, we know the code sets, they all change a little bit, but, even the understanding of how you do one code or what's acceptable or stuff like that, you've got to stay on top of that, guys. So you need to have a connection. Like we have the CCO Club, of course, many of you are going to know about that. But whenever there's a change or whenever there's something that needs to be brought to your attention, we can do that through the club. But you need to be out there researching too, and have resources at your fingertips so that you can say, ooh, I heard someone say something about a change. Who are you going to, where are you going to go find those answers? Who are you going to ask? That's just part of us being a coder. Now we talk about CEUs, but it's not even like CEUs getting credit for it. You have to be, it's like getting up every morning when you remember when your father used to get up and read the paper, so just so they could know what was happening in the world. That's like what a coder has to do. You got to get up every day and go see what the traffic is, what's the talk out there, what's happening, so you can stay on the top of it. And of course, like I said, being a part of an organization or like the CCO Club, that gives you that ability to do that. And I wouldn't say, oh, just use one. No, you need to be out there seeing what AHEMA's saying, seeing what AMBA's saying, see what PAYCOM's saying, seeing what these guys are saying, because they're like, PAYCOM is one of the leaders in practice management. AMBA's billing, HEMA is, inpatient. So if it's going to be a diagnosis thing, they're going to know, they're going to be on top of it. So make sure that you stay. Oh, and another thing I thought of, whatever encoder that you use, now we like Find a Code, of course, they put out articles and blogs and stuff all the time and give you heads up. So if you know how to find that on the encoder that you're using, then every day get out there and say, hey, is there a new announcement? Is there something else going on? And it's gonna make you a better coder all around. Whitney says, I'm preparing for the CCSP and then the COC. Any suggestions for prepping for those exams if you already have the CPC?
Now you're jumping ahead. You don't have a slide up for that.
Okay.
But it's up there if you want to get to
put
it.
the questions on the slides for us so we can keep talking. So the next topic related to E&M is training and experience for E&M. So we talked a little bit about our physician-based coding course. We cover E&M in there thoroughly, and our review blitz, our CPT review blitz, since E&M is a part of CPT. So those are two really good resources. And if you're a club member, we have, oh, her name just went out of my head. What's that popular E&M one we have in the club?
Oh, Suzanne's did the, Susan did the extravaganza, E&M extravaganza, was that it?
It wasn't Susan. No, she has some good E&M stuff in there. But Maggie Mack.
Maggie Mack.
Yeah, and that was in Florida, and Boyd happened to be living there at the time. So I went and we recorded it, and she said, fine, put it in the club, and it was great. So a lot of people watch that, and it really helps them with auditing. She does real world, she takes the chart, she brings you in, and she's basically saying those E&M guidelines are like the Bible. If you understand that and you use that as your source document, you will do very well on any exams that have to do with E&M, auditing and everything. So that's a definite one worth doing, where you don't have to do a full course. You just want to get up to speed, watch that video that's for club members. Experience.
Also,
you want to talk about experience?
Yeah, but is it called EMM University? Isn't that the one you referenced a lot? Is EMM
Yeah,
University as one that you can trust?
Mhm.
If there's a scenario out there, you could almost like find a unique scenario case that they say, okay, see, here's an example. I think, but I know that's one it's one thing for you to go out there and search for them, but it's another when it's vetted and they have good training. They just do E&M. I mean.
Yeah, I like this one. They've got some good tools in here, and I think if there's a not a newsletter, but like an email notification, and he'll send you these little scenarios, and you'll go to code it with them, and a lot of times just at looking at it, you'll say, I think that's a 3, and you'll be shocked to find out it's a level 4 or even higher because it was like 4 sentences. But he shows you how to pull out the elements and go, yeah, no, this supports it. So I think here it is, the free area. That's what you want to do. So he's got
whenever
all
you can
this,
get anything free.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. But that's another good resource. I did pull up, this is a trick that I show, and I'm now using this DuckDuckGo, a search engine, because I heard that Google is very invasive and is like spying on us. So this one is supposed to not have all that kind of stuff. So at any rate, if you see this little duck, that's what that is. But the same search trick that I've learned years ago when I was doing my own internet marketing is to put your keyword in. So I just put EM, and then you do a space and the word site, as in website, colon, and whatever site you want to search. So I searched our website, cco.us. Basically, I'm saying, show me any page where it's talking about EM, and it's going to start with EM in the title. So this is just searching CCO stuff, our free stuff on our website. Here's something we did on E&M with diabetes. Here's just in our FAQ section. Here's another one, how to level E&M. How can I understand E&M levels? E&M guidelines 95 and 97. So you can just see, oh, this is our free step-by-step guide to understanding E&M coding. So let's see, what else we have here? How to level past family and social history. So there's just more, just do that. And now if you want to switch out cco.us and put qpro.com, which is, physician-based coding organization, outpatient one, AAPC, AHEMA, any of those, cms.gov. That's how we do a lot of our research when we're doing our answer sheets for our public Q&A and our student Q&A webinars, where we have to do some research ahead. This helps us. Like, okay, what have we already talked about? What resources do we already have? So that's how you do the website search. And then if you go to our YouTube channel, this little, and our channel name is Medical Coding Cert, and Boyd has really been the major person in getting this up to almost 24,000 subscribers. And this wasn't even our original one. The original one was tied to my personal email, and YouTube wouldn't let us separate that. So he started this second channel. So I don't even know how much we have on the original one, but I just typed in EM and in the magnifier thing, and look at all these videos that we've done over the years. So lots of stuff. And because E&M only changes slightly, even these older videos have a lot of good information. So check that out. You know, and of course, we'd love to have you be a club member for the premium content, but there's a lot of great free content here. So I did want to take a minute to show you how to do that. All right. Anything
Lots
else?
of questions now, so
Okay,
you can
we'll move along.
go for it. There's still a couple
All
more
right.
E&M ones, and then there's some general ones.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
because
this is from
experience
Colin.
is just based on experience. That's just time, you know.
Yeah.
So.
And you'll get quicker. You know, the more you do, the quicker you'll get. And we tell people that, you know, sometimes if they didn't pass the exam the first time and they've done their practice exams, we say, well, just do more practice. And it never hurts. Any exam you do and you don't pass, it wasn't wasted time. You had you're adding that to your experience level, and it all counts, whether it's on the job experience or you're studying for an exam. It's still experience. It's going to build your confidence up and your skill level up. Okay, so here's a question from Holly. Hello from Florida. Definitely need help with E&M, especially knowing when it is billable with a radiopharmaceutical procedure. A lot of my physicians want to bill it for doing the procedure. Some even do a consult same day. Okay, a lot going on here. Let's see. When it's billable with radiopharmaceutical procedure. Well, most E&M services, if they are significant and separate from the other work being done, whether it's radiopharmaceutical or anything for that matter, you want a picture if you got audited. Could you send in documentation that's supporting the E&M service and this other service? If you can, then you should be okay to bill both. Now you may need a modifier on the E&M. It depends on, you know, what the procedure is. Let's see.
Also, consult is, it depends who the payer is,
Carrier.
because
Yeah.
Medicare isn't going to pay for consult. So
Yeah.
And
so
remember, consult
that's what they mean, I think.
involves certain criteria in order to bill for a consult. So
Versus
not
E&M, regular
just
E&M.
because a patient came to you from somebody else doesn't mean you can bill a consult for it. So, and those are all laid out in the CPT manual as well, what the criteria are to be able to bill a consult.
Yeah. A lot of our physicians, because they're in a specialty like orthopedics or whatever, they think every patient that comes to them is a consult. And oftentimes they're a referral that, you know, the physician who referred them says, yeah, we know it's fractured. We want you to treat it, eval and treat. So it's education. And so you want to work with your physicians and educate them that way so that, you know, they don't get caught with their pants down and get an audit and have to pay back money, you know. So you know, with E&M training, you learn with consults, you need, you know, a request for an opinion. An opinion actually needs to be rendered, and a report of that opinion needs to go back to the requesting source, among, you know, other things. But they're all in the guidelines, right in your CPT manual. That's the best place to go learn about it. And those E&M guidelines that you can get on the cms.gov website. Okay, Kimberly is asking, what E&M online tool do you all feel is best? So far, I use Novitas.
well,
so like an
Lauren
auditing
created
tool.
one a long time ago that still
A
to
scoring
me,
sheet, yeah.
I think the one you created was just really good.
The what? Which one?
The E&M tool that you created that we used to give away at the whenever we would be a vendor. I mean,
yeah, it was an adapted one to one that I believe was being used by one of the Medicare auditing, what do I say, insurance companies in New Jersey at the time. And we just kind of tweaked it quite a bit to make it a little more user-friendly. But I'm trying to say, I bet that is on our website. Let me put EM Audit.
and you know, it really makes a difference to have one that is set up for your specialty if you're working with a specialty. I mean, if you're doing pediatrics or you're doing cardiology or even podiatry, you know, you can create one yourself or find one that has been adapted, like you said, tweaked specifically for that, that particular specialty.
Yeah, you also have to know what's your office going to typically use. Are they going to go by the 95 guidelines? Or are they going to go by the 97 guidelines? You can't pick and choose. So if you are a specialty, are you going to use the 97 guidelines? Are you going to use 4x4? What are you going to do? So that should kind of be laid out that everybody's using the same criteria for all the providers as well.
Right.
I think it's on this. So if you fill out your info here and you get this step-by-step guide, I believe that audit tool is in here. I'm going to put that
Included
in.
in that.
Yeah, let's see if it'll let me do it here.
It was something free we gave them. And we have a
All right,
modifier grid.
maybe Boyd, you can post it in the YouTube one. It's not letting me do it.
That's a.
Sorry, I missed that. Which one was it again?
I just put a link in our internal chat. If you could share that on the YouTube channel. I got it to work on Facebook, but not YouTube. Okay. By the way, all these freebies that we have, if you come to cco.us and in the, not the top green menu, but the second one where it says freebies, just click on that and you'll see a ton of free stuff that we've created over the years. This is our free monthly webinar that we do. All these practice exams. We have several for many of these credentials, but all of them, we try to at least have one free one. We use this a lot when people aren't sure if they need the full course. We'll say, take the free practice exam, see how you score, and that will give you an idea. If it's really low, you need the course. If you're close, you might just need the review blitz.
And if you're getting ready to take the CPC, go take the COC one too. I mean, you know it's going to be a little bit different, but they're so similar that it'll give you additional practice.
Yeah. And we've got all these. Here's the Understanding E&M guide that I just sent you the link, getting your first job in medical coding. Did you fail and you want to go over like a retake strategy? We have job aid tools, cardiac cath, administration of contrast, modifier decision grid, wound care. That used to be my big thing I taught a lot, was on modifiers. So, you know, check this out. There's quite a few. And if there's something you'd like us to develop that you think would have a wide appeal, let us know and we will we'll put someone on it to develop it.
Yeah. You know, wherever I go, if they find out that I work for CCO, that's one of the first things that they say. I love that you guys give so much free stuff. You know, and we do.
Let me see if I can try this one more time. So here's my little search, EM audit tool site, cco.us. I'm going to see if we have something else.
What's the name of that duck one again? It's called DuckDuckGo. Okay, I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, like duck, duck, goose, duck, duck, go.
DuckDuckGo.
Well, I think I'm not sure if what the question was referring to is off of the, you know, they use Novitas. They have the online interactive E&M tool. And I use that quite often when I'm auditing some of our charts. Is, you know, it goes through everything and you just click the buttons and it will come out telling you that, you know, based on what the information you provided, this is the level it would be.
And
or
I think
you
Find
don't have enough information or something.
Yeah, Find a Code has something like that too.
Yeah.
And here's the one from AAPC. This one they let you use in some of their exams. I just didn't find it super user-friendly, but hey, it's better than, you know, nothing, you know. But we'll try
and what works for those too sometimes is if you put them in a page protector that you you know, and you use
Don't
a
have it laminated.
Right
Expo
on,
pin.
wipe off. Yeah.
Yeah, they just wipe on, wipe off, so you don't have to have it laminated or something. Just use one of those plastic page protectors and a whatever they're called, the Expo markers for boards or whatever they I don't know
Yeah.
what they're called.
And you can get those fine point ones too now.
Mhm.
So you can
Yep.
don't have to
Just
get
take a
really
paper
big one.
towel and wipe it off and do the next one. Yeah.
All right. So Jesus has let me know our audit tool is not live yet. So we're working on that freebie being put up.
Updating it.
So keep your eye on that freebies page. Okay. I also wanted to mention for the audit tool, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on names, but she taught our auditing course for a while, and she liked this tool where,
Chandra?
no,
No.
oh my God, I'm getting old, guys.
No, you're not. Your brain's so full of knowledge. There's just not enough
Yeah,
room
just
for that old
spilling
stuff.
over. But they had NAMUS. Is that the
Name it. Yeah,
auditing?
name it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
might be saying their
Namas, yeah.
acronym. They have a, like you were talking about, laminated write on, wipe off. She loved that one, and that was kind of like, if I remember correctly, cards, and you kind of flipped it over for the different, whether you're doing history exam, medical decision making. So that might be another company to check
I'll go
out.
pull it out. I got one from HealthCon.
Oh yeah, okay, then you can
Yeah,
hold
they
it
were
up.
there. You were
They
really
gave
great.
them away at HealthCon. Yeah. It's right here in my bag.
Is it NAAMS? National Association?
NAMAS. Namas.
NAM. There we go.
Think of Nama from the Muppets.
Maybe it's not .com.
Let's see here. Where is it at? Because they gave me a freebie one. Oh, is this it? Yeah.
No, but it's not .com.
No,
Namaste.
that's not it.
There we go.
I must have got one from them last time, so not this time. I got one from Elsevier and one from another
.co.
company.
Are
Namaste.
they out of
Namaste.co. Yeah.
So let's see what they have here. Store.
That's another good one that I just get their emails. You know, you can just get their information, and then they come out with, you know, I get one a couple times a week actually, and they have little tips and
Yeah, right here,
you
the
know, E&M
complimentary
tips
weekly.
and things.
Yeah. Where is their audit tool?
You can hear my children in the
Audit.
background.
I thought it was a bird.
I can only hear the TV in the background. I did think somebody was just going with their lips.
So
But
here's their audit tools. They have a bundle pack if you're
That's it.
inpatient or emergency or facility. Here's their regular E&M one. I think this is the one she used.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, obviously they're not going to make this real big because they don't want you to copy it, but you know, it's got the typical history exam, medical decision making little, you know, check boxes. But she just used like one of those grease pencils, and then you kind of wipe it off. So you know, $20, reusable, but she really liked that. She was a big advocate of that one. So hopefully that gives you some things to explore on what E&M tool do we use. Now she did say specifically online. So I think, does Find a Code have that, Alicia?
Yeah, they do.
For
They
building
do.
an E&M?
I think so.
Let me see if my password's working today.
You changed it, you know.
I know. Another
I can put in
sign
the
of old
chat what
age.
it is if you want me to tell you to remind you.
No, my browser remembered, thankfully. Okay. So let's see. E&M. Would that be build a code?
Well, it's in the tools, I think. Or are you already there? Is there a delay?
let's see, tools, find a code, browse a code, click a DEX, build a code. Here it is, EM calculator. So it's under tools
Yeah.
and then calculators and go down to EM calculator. And then this is just what I was saying when we were talking about that funneling down. Are you going to code based on history exam, medical decision making, the components, or is it a time-based code like critical care? So if you do components, then you can just start doing your little bean counting and checking off, and it will help build the code for you. So check that one out on Find a Code if you're a Find a Code member. And by the way, with when you become a club member, there's an option to add on Find a Code, and you get a discount by doing that, and you get access to some CCO, proprietary stuff that's built into our version of Find a Code.
Yeah.
You can also purchase Find a Code directly through us as well, but most people do it because they're bundling it with their club membership.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Does CCO have a specific EM course? We have EM in our physician-based course, and we cover it in the Blitz, but I don't think we have just E&M.
And you have your Know Your Him and Time that they can get for a CEU training. But for like an E&M credential, we don't have a course for learning that.
Oops.
But if
For
you
the
would like for us to develop that, if that's something that's on your radar, we are adding courses more frequently than we have in the past because, quite honestly, CCO is a pretty fine-tuned machine now. And it's finding the experts and the SMEs and the people to vet it and everything that is just time consuming. But if that's something you'd like to see us work on,
I think our link is
definitely.
broke there. Instead of CEU, it's taking me to club. Let's go here. Oh, I know why. Because all of our CEUs are in the club now.
They're in the club. That's right.
We don't
Oh,
sell
that's
separate
that.
CEU classes anymore. It's all about the club. We want people to join the club. And the club is very inexpensive. It's a monthly cost, and then you can pick any of our CEU items that are in there. So it's in there that we have our E&M CEU class, and I think it's like 3 hours. So, and then our auditing course, of course, goes into a lot of
That is
E&M. Even
very
if you don't want to become an auditor, but you want to understand E&M more deeply, that would be the course to do. But there's not just not just E&M auditing in there. There's more to auditing than understanding E&M, is what I'm trying to say. So you get a little bit more
CDI
of
and
that
stuff like
course.
that.
Yeah. So we do. And anytime you have a question on courses and things like that, always just go to our help desk, cco.us/help desk, open up a ticket. They're very helpful at giving you guidance in what direction to go and giving you the links to get right to the course page that you want to, figure out. Plus, they take that information and say, we're getting a lot of requests for X, Y, and Z. Then we'll put that on the roadmap to be developed next. That's how we developed the pharmacology course and the what was the other new one?
Pathophysiology, compliance.
Yeah.
They're all relatively new ones.
Okay, so Darren is asking, I'm currently about to take my CPC exam for the 3rd time. I failed by 2 points, ouch, 2 different times, and feel a little discouraged. Is that normal? And what can I do to get those extra 2 points? And then another similar question, studying for the exam on June 8th, retake from end of last year, missed by 6 questions. So this is definitely my expertise area.
Yeah, and I just want to give you a heads up. Don't be discouraged about taking it more than once, because Laureen tells the story, and I'll just nab her highlight here because she may or may not tell you about this. But some people just know more or have more real world experience and stuff. And I remember her telling me about someone that she knew, I think that was a student too, and she said she could code rings around me.
Yeah.
And yet she couldn't pass the test. She ended up taking it like 5 times. And I find that people that are clinicians or people who have been forced to code or code but don't have the credential and need to go back and get the credential for their job or something like that, they tend to be the ones that have to take it more than once. And it's
Yeah.
not a bad thing. It's because you overthink it.
They
You think
overthink it,
outside the
yeah.
box, and they're
Yeah.
strictly, this is a guideline. Tell us you know it, you know.
So the biggest strategy, and we used to do, until it just got to be too much, we couldn't handle it, free consultation calls with people. And I would probably say 80% of those calls, I was helping people with retake strategy calls. Now, they hadn't used any CCO products, but they heard about us. They didn't pass. Their friends on Facebook said, you know, go check them out. And almost every single conversation went similarly. And I asked them, how did you prepare? Okay, most of them might have taken a course. Did you do any kind of review? A few of them maybe said that they did. Did you do practice exams? No. So that would be my number one recommendation, is do timed practice exams.
Mhm.
And I recommend doing it until you're scoring an 85%. So you might have to take 4 timed practice exams to get to that point. And it's a buffer, because you need a 70 to pass, you know, most of the physician-based coding exams, like
Right.
the CPC. And that buffer makes up for nerves on exam day. And most of like our practice exams are 60 questions. Wait, 30 questions or 60?
No, they're like 50 or 60,
50.
but they're
It's
they're
50 to
set up on
60.
time.
We like them to be 60 because on the exam grids, typically, like for the CPC, they've got them in 5 columns of 30 questions each. So we made it 60 questions on a lot of our practice exams, because we want you to practice a timing technique where you spend 1 hour per column. So if it's a 5-hour and 40-minute exam and you've got 5 columns, if you're spending an hour per column, that's going to leave you 40 minutes to kind of go back and, you know, answer any of the ones you didn't get to, or the harder ones. And we go into all these details on our review blitzes, how to take the exam, how to manage your time. But you have to practice that and practice going quicker. That's how you're going to get those 2 points, you know. Another thing, it might be obvious to some, but some people don't realize it. If you're using an outdated manual, even by 1 year, that could be 1 point, 1 or 2 points that you miss the exam by. And it does something to your confidence level too, because you're always doubting, like, oh, maybe this question has old, maybe this book where I'm looking at has an old code and I'm missing a newer one, and it slows you down, and it's emotionally a drain on you when you're taking the exam. So always make sure you have current year manuals and that they're bubbled and highlighted and annotated. That's another big thing that we do at CCO, is the BAT technique. If you're not familiar with it, go to cco.us/BHAT for bubble, highlight, annotate technique, and learn all about it. It's nothing we sell separately. It's included in all of our courses and our club membership. So that's really very worth it. It takes time to mark up your book with this method, but it doesn't just help for the exam, it helps in real world coding too. We know many people that bubble and highlight the section that applies to the specialty they're coding for every year, because it saves them a lot of time. So any other thoughts you guys want to add about getting those extra points?
Well, I thought Whitney, she posted that she started from the back, and most people do. They do start from the front. They start at question 1 and get moving, and they think, oh, that's how they have to go. Well, some of those easier ones are in the back. So if you run out of time and you get to those easy medical terminology or easy anatomy questions, or easier, I'll say, not as in depth, that may be a good place to start. Go ahead and knock those out of the way, and maybe that could be your 2 points because you ran out of time. So
well, and if you're going to do the 1 hour per column technique, then you don't really have to worry about where you start. You can start with question 1, but some people, that might be too much for them. And if you're not going to do that and you want to go find the easier ones first, you can start in the back or different places. But the technique that we found over the years that really works is when you give yourself 1 hour per column, and you have to practice that. So when you do your timed practice exams, you're going to spend you're going to take a 60 question exam and give yourself 2 hours and time yourself, and you get 1 hour for the first column, 2 hours for the second column, and then we give you I think it was like 18 minutes to go and do what I call cleanup work. And there's more to the technique. You know, you will, as you're answering questions, you want to answer the easy ones and skip over the hard ones, because you need to get 70% of each column correct. So you're having to train yourself to let it go. Let the hard ones go. Let it go and go for the easy ones, because you want to get to the easy ones on the whole exam. And once you
Right.
have the strategy and you practice it, when you go to take the real exam, you know how to do it. You don't want to wait until exam day to put this technique into place, because you won't do it. And everything will go out the window. Just like with
Right.
a driving exam, if you don't practice the driving, you don't go to the DMV and get behind the wheel and
Well,
expect to pass. Yeah. So those practice exams are really critical, and we have a lot of them for the more popular exams. I think for the physician base, we've got 4, and counting the free one, and then AAPC's got 3 or 4, and then there's other ones on the web. But you know, we really are very proud of our practice exams. I would definitely start with ours, then use the AAPCs, and then if there's any other third-party ones, ask us in the chat. We'll let you know if we've vetted them. You know, we know we're not the only game in town, but practice exams. Ours, we've been told, are harder than the real exam. That people that have done our practice exams, when they went to take the real one, they're like, oh, it felt easy. But I think too, some of that could be if they're doing a lot of practice exams, they're just better. They're just ready.
Become simpler.
yeah.
And even the
Yeah.
questions you get wrong on a practice exam, you learn so much because you got it
Yes.
wrong, and you got to go, what I do? And you untangle it and you figure out where you went wrong, because a good practice exam has rationales, so you can figure out where you went wrong. And also a support area where you can ask, say, hey, I got this one wrong. I am not getting it. And someone can help you work it out. The next time you get a question, like say it's on, integumentary coding for lesions, you'll never forget that again, that a simple repair is included, because you missed it on a practice exam question. So
Yeah.
all right, let's see. The next question, Whitney, I'm preparing to take the CCSP and then the COC. Any suggestions preparing for these exams if you already have the CPC? That was the one that I think you were starting to read earlier, Alicia.
I think it's quite honestly, the COC and the CPC and the CCSP. Well, the CCSP is a HEMA's, and it's a different format because you take it electronically and stuff like that. But the COC is so similar to the CPC.
Very.
And so if you can do one, if you can do the CPC, then payment methodologies and modifiers are a little bit different, but otherwise, yeah, you sit with that confidence. Now, one thing I didn't know about taking an AHEMA exam, which is going to be pertinent for you if you're going to go take the CCSP, AHEMA doesn't let you mark in your manuals. I did not know that. So you might plan ahead, take the COC, and then take the CCSP when you go purchase your new manuals for the new year, maybe, because, and then don't mark in them. But even the BAT technique that Lorraine was telling everybody about earlier, I mean, that's something that once you've done that, you tend to do that to your manual every year, and you make notes that way because it just makes you a better coder. So you don't want to get in there with your marked up CPT manual and then say, oh, no, you can't use this. So
and we
think
do,
about
if
that.
you reach out to the help desk, have an accelerated COC course, if you will, where what you've already learned for the CPC, you don't have to pay for it. It's all the other stuff that you need to know. You could also try the practice exam for the COC and see how you do. And if you're passing it, just go take it.
Just go sit for it.
Yeah, and we've got a review blitz for that you could do to kind of refresh yourself. So, just keep in mind for the AHEMA one, it's not all multiple choice. Some of it is like, here's a case, code it. and you fill in the boxes what the E&M code is, and you fill in the box what the diagnosis codes are. So find a study guide that is geared toward that, or has some practice. There's some on Amazon that you know, you could just get practice with the format, so you're not like shocked when you go in there and go, what is this, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I'm having difficulties to register for CPC online from Dubai. Oh, that one you're going to have to go to aapc.com.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Oh,
they have something
Alicia,
there.
come on.
We
You have
just
her card? You have
Yeah.
her card?
there is Jennifer met her, and then I got to meet her. The person that is the liaison or the connection for the AAPC out of Dubai, and she does
Oh,
the
okay.
whole UAE.
Yeah,
Okay.
she does it. Yeah.
The whole area. She was like the only CPCI out there,
Wow.
and she has a name very similar to mine. Was it Anita? Her name's Anita.
It's Anita. Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, I will find the card. If you want to send a message to the help desk and say that you want the contact information for the connection for the UAE. Now, that being said, the AAPC does have testing overseas, especially for military people and stuff like that. However, remember, they use a different ICD code set than we do, and so things are a little bit different. And you're going to want to get a hold of Anita. That's who they're going to tell you to get a hold of. But again, just send a helpdesk@cco.us. Say that you saw us on the webinar. You want Anita's contact for the UAE, and we'll. I know I've got her card somewhere. If I don't, Jennifer does. But we'll make sure you get the information.
You'll dig it out. Great.
Yeah.
Very good. Networking.
We felt really cool that we met international people.
She
like
was a
that.
wonderful person too. She was
Really
really nice. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, Pamela, what do you recommend for coding education? Well,
you go to
us,
the site.
CCO. So, you know, normally if someone would call me and ask me that, I would find out, well, what do you know so far? Because it could be you're already coding. You could be a nurse. There's so many different pathways that we could advise you to do. I know in the last couple of years, I've been recommending to my own personal friends that want to get into this industry to start with the CRC. Because what you do is you learn one code set. You learn ICD-10 really well, like the back of your hand, and then plan on learning and taking a physician-based exam, like one from QPro or AAPC, like the CPC exam, and add to that. So now you're going to learn the other two code sets, the CPT and HCPCS, and now you're a full-rounded coder. But if you start with the one, you only have to focus on one code set, and it's also a great initial career to get into because they do hire remotely even brand new coders and do a little extra training when they hire you. So, and I used to say the opposite. Alicia and I would kind of give opposite advice. She goes, yeah, CRC, then CPC. I said, no, CPC, then CRC. But now I've kind of come around, and because it's less money, you only have to buy one coding manual versus 3. So that's what I recommend, to kind of do it in that order. If you have absolutely no interest in, you know, CRC coding, then go right to, you know, physician-based course and credential.
And like Laureen mentioned before, if maybe you do have some experience and you're just not really sure where you're at, should I, you know, do I need to take a full course? Do I just need to blitz? You know what I do? That's what we tell you. Go and take one of those free practice exams.
Yep.
And if you can't pass it, then you need a full course. If you pass it, but you're just right there, you know, it's like, now you need at least the blitz. Okay.
Yeah, a review.
And then, but if you do really well, if you can get that, you know, 85, 90, just go take the exam. I still advise everybody to get the blitz because it makes you an overall better coder. It gives you testing tips. It gives you ways to learn how to mark up and annotate, you know, your CPT manual, but that also gives you tips on how to take care of your ICD, little things. Because sometimes, man, you get people in there and they start hearing highlight and stuff, and the next thing you know, they've got 5 colors of highlights and it looks like a neon sign. Now you don't want to do that. So the Blitz is more than just, hey, these are the tips to code. It's really a complete package that if
How
nothing
to take
else,
it. Yeah.
yeah, I would get that. But no sense in
Okay.
spending more money than you have to.
Exactly. And spread it out a little. Whitney, can you all talk about the Medicare physician fee schedule final rule, like what it is?
Oh, well, Jennifer can, because she knows it like the back of her hand.
I already pulled it up.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Well, so the final rule, of course, this is not the final rule because there will be another final rule. But as it stands, they're looking at 2021 beginning new payment methodology. So currently they already got rid of a couple things. They got rid of a requirement for home care, home visits. One of the requirements they had, they changed some of the documentation requirements. And I'll let you know, the whole idea behind this is to create patient-based quality care. So they're trying to get rid of that, how much money am I going to get for this factor, and center the care upon the patient. So that's why they're getting rid of some of the paperwork requirements, some of the documentation requirements. They're allowing other providers to be able to document in place of the physician. So there's a lot of different changes coming about to create quality care. So what they're looking at is they will reimburse one fee rate for 99212 through 99214. They just changed it again. Originally, when it came out in January, it was one way. And when Ray Marie Jimenez spoke at HealthCon, she said it's now another way. So one change has already been made. And then you can base your documentation on the 95 or 97 guidelines, or time, or medical decision making. So they're going to give some, again, it's one of those things you can't pick and choose, which, well, today I want to do time and tomorrow I'll do medical decision making. So it is some changes upon the fee schedule. There was talk of, if you had a 25 modifier, they were going to drop your procedure by 50%. There was talk of add-ons for things like primary care providers and cardiologists, providers who do spend additional amount of time. There'll be an additional HCPCS code they can use. So it's definitely something to keep track of. Definitely subscribe to the CMS newsletters, and that way you'll definitely have all the information right when it comes out. So, but it is going to go through some changes as well. And they are going to come out with a good MDM, actual good MDM grid to use.
Right. One of the things that this will affect too is,
concrete.
As that coder, you are also the liaison for the provider. So, and you're, they're educating us and we're educating them, but documentation, if it's documentation on time or medical decision making, you can't just say, I spent 25 minutes with this patient. No, I spent 25 minutes with this patient. I did this and I observed this and I addressed this. I counseled them on smoking and so it's not like they get to do less, but the verbiage changes and it tweaks the way. You still can't say, we're in here for a follow-up. No, you gotta, and you will be the one that helped them traffic the new rules and stuff like that.
Great, good stuff. All right, let's see. Leslie's asking, do you have a preference for CRC study guides, AAPC or AMA Sherry Poe?
Sherry Poe.
Sherry Poe. We love her.
She's very knowledgeable. I did one of her workshops.
We use her book that she put out last year as our textbook for the CRC course. Now, there's some things that she doesn't cover, and she tells you, like on the first couple pages that this is what you're going to learn in this textbook. And but our course is developed enough that we have other things. However, that book is amazing. And whether you take our course or you just purchase the book, which let me see if I've got the book right here. Is that book? No, that's my auditor book. I got her book. Oh, it's right here. Sorry. And she's getting ready to put out the next edition, but this is it. So if you want to just get it off Amazon, you can. And we even provide you a link. If you go to cco.us, we can give you an Amazon link to go in and get that. And you can see I've already been putting notes and such in there. But yeah, this is really a fantastic. Now, is the AAPC guide good? I'm sure it is. But quite honestly, Sherry was an advisor for them for their course and their thing. So it's like, just stop the middleman and go straight to Sherry stuff.
Now,
can I say that?
Yeah, sure. It's your opinion.
Yeah,
If you go to cco.us, if you ever want to know what books we use in our courses, just come here. The help desk has been really hard at work making this very easy to figure out what books do you need for which course. And there's links, which is really cool. So let's see.
So there's like links to Amazon. So if you've got Amazon Prime, you don't have to pay shipping and da-da-da-da. But do know that there are some errors. There's always errors in every publication, always.
Yeah.
And she's, our students found things. We found little tweaky things, nothing big. And so she said, yeah, she's on board. They're making changes for the new edition. So again, but those are not things that are going to make a difference in you taking the test. These are like little clerical errors.
So here for a risk adjustment coding course, you can see here's her book here and, ICD-10, of course. If you just click on the picture, it'll jump you right to the Amazon page. We are no longer being a bookstore because there's just not much margin on selling books and stuff. This way, everyone, Amazon or whoever is your favorite bookstore seller, they get it to you so much, quicker. And if you have problems, you can, deal with them. They're really good at doing that. But and a lot of times they have this buy used option where you could save like $10 or something. So, anyway, check that out.
See, you could get it by Friday. That's pretty cool.
All right, Varun, where do I find the list of CPT codes and their corresponding revenue codes? Corresponding revenue codes, like inpatient is what are you talking about?
DRGs or what?
Yeah, I know with find a code, was this from YouTube or Facebook?
I had to knock off my Facebook because I was freezing up. My internet was hiccuping.
If you're still there, Varun, give us a little clarification. But I do know with find a code, let me see.
Find a code, you can get the NCCI edits, you can get.
Yeah, so if we go to like say CPT, and let's just grab something from integumentary here.
You're muted, Jennifer.
Oops.
How did that happen? Okay.
I saw your mouth.
But no, revenue codes come from ICD-10 PCS, right?
Well, for inpatient, but not CPT. Yeah, for outpatient. So.
Yeah. Judith thought department revenue codes.
So if we go to PCS.
Put my readers on to be able to see the screen. These are my new readers I got at Dollar General that's supposed to fit every string.
All right, so let's do.
Oh, okay.
Let's do medical surgical.
I love PCS.
All right, so I'm just grabbing this code here. So what does this give us? Additional code information, reverse lookup. No, we don't need that. Here's DRG grouper logic. Not quite sure what they
Well,
mean.
I mean, if I just Google it and go, it brings me straight to like Noridian, where it gives me the revenue codes right
Okay.
on their website. So I would assume whatever carrier they're looking for should be able to get it.
Do you want to put that link in the Facebook?
Well, yeah, it depend on that they are looking for.
Or in Podio, and I can put it in there.
Yeah.
So NoridianMedicare.com is an example of one. And
Yeah.
is this a site you were at?
Yeah.
So you need
I
to know
can
what
do the link.
jurisdiction.
Yeah. Put in Podio, but
Got it.
Revenue code.
I mean, but that's just if that's what they're looking for. You know, I'm not sure what exactly they're
Right.
looking for.
Take a peek and see.
Yeah.
Now you can see how we research stuff. We
Mhm.
Google it.
And then we break it down going, do they mean this? Or wait, let me look at this one. Do they mean
Yeah.
this? Because then, like, you know, Blue Cross, North Carolina, they have on their website the revenue codes too. So it looks like something you should be able to find
But
dependent
he's
upon
saying a
your
list
carrier.
of CPT codes and their revenue codes.
Hmm.
I'm gonna have
Let
to
me
do a
see
little digging
here.
on that.
Well, because there's crosswalks, but
Mm.
CPT and HICPIC revenue codes. Let me see here.
You notice you don't see me jumping in there to find these answers because this is not what I do. Tell me
Alicia
how
will do her
somebody
song and
bleed.
dance.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just if you want me to tell you how somebody bleeds out because they're a hemophiliac and their spleen bursts, hey, I'm right there for it. I can tell you, but nah, revenue codes is not something I put in my brain. Not
There it
when there's
is.
people.
Spotlight, CPT to revenue codes, crosswalks.
Yeah, that's what I
Right.
was saying. You know, find a crosswalk. Yeah.
All right. View CPT to revenue code crosswalks. First, enter your CPT code in the comprehensive search bar. Once you click search, you should be taken to the code definition page. All right, so it wasn't PCS, it was CPT he was asking for. Then we go down to the revenue codes. Let's try that again. So we're going to go to CPT.
Looks like Varun has left because we're not getting clarification on that, unfortunately.
It's okay. It'll be on the recording. All right, let's just grab a code. All right, so now make this a little bigger.
Put in a chest x-ray.
This might be
chest
one that I don't have.
Oh, that's, well, she's looking up, but I can tell you
Yeah,
something
see,
about
it
that. So
says
find a code.
UB for revenue codes.
Yeah.
I don't have that. So it might be a more higher level find a code access than what we have because we didn't need it. So,
Yeah.
but
You
that
can
would be
pick and
one way.
choose what you want access to, and that's what's great about bind a code. If you don't deal with that, then no sense in finding, paying extra for that option.
Yeah, it's not showing up here. Well, it's something I'll have to ask them to give us.
Mm.
But if you do have find a code and you have paid for that feature, then whatever CPT code you're on, you should have this UB revenue code
Optum does it.
area. Yeah, it's just an extra feature you have to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, because with
alrighty.
Optum 360 coding, you can purchase it. So yeah, it's something you'd have to buy. Yeah.
Well, I didn't even realize it. We already
We
went
are
over an hour.
Went over time.
That went fast. I like having 3 of us. That kind of makes it go quicker. But I think we're going to make that a wrap here, guys. Thanks for joining us. I think, will we be back next Wednesday, or do we have the public one
Q&A
on
webinar.
Thursday?
Public
we have
one's Thursday. Yeah.
Public
Yeah.
Thursday, yep.
Okay, so we won't have this on Wednesday, but we have our public Q&A where we do the deeper research, deeper dives. So come join us next Thursday. If you want to sign up for that, so you get reminders, just go to our cco.us freebies page, and you'll see right there in the upper right-hand corner the little box that you click on to sign your name. Because on that one, you can actually join us in our webinar area or Facebook or YouTube. But if you're in our little go to webinar room, those are the chat questions that we tend to see quicker, if you will.
Yeah.
Here it is, free
Varun.
monthly Q&A webinar. Just click on that and put in your info and you will be all registered.
Yeah. Varun
Okay,
did
great.
reply, so we'll try and take care of that. So
Okay,
Maybe
great.
we'll work on that for the Q&A. We may just add that for you. Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right, well, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Boyd. Thanks, Alicia and Jennifer. That was fun.
bye.
Have a
You
good
bet.
night.
Thanks, everybody.
Happy